All right, theories are very important in understanding phenomenon because they give us possibilities of outcomes of things. However, we should know that in communication theories will not be absolute because human behavior can change in different circumstances. Today, our discussion is going to be on media effect theories. Now, primal scholars studied propaganda and persuasion. So they used mass media to study propaganda and persuasion. That was their focus. However, as time proceeded, they looked at behavioral sciences to see how human beings will react or human beings will behave when they have access to media, or they would like to find out the influence of media on them. The first model that began was the direct effects model. That shows that human beings can be forced to do what the media wants them to do. In fact, they can be geared towards a particular direction where their actions can be predicted. So when an information is given to them, they passively consume the information and end up reproducing the intended action, just like how nudging is done. One of the earliest theories in the direct effect model is the hypodermic needle theory or the magic bullet theory. The hypodermic needle theory or the magic bullet theory has some proponents like Harold Laswell, Paul Lazarsfeld, among others. Now, this theory posits that when communication is done, when people consume information over a period of time, they are geared to making decisions towards that kind of communication. For instance, imagine your favorite footballer is Cristiano Ronaldo, and you see Cristiano Ronaldo wearing a particular kind of brand of shoe in an advertisement. The hypodermic needle theory posits that most people, or majority of the people, will go and buy that particular shoe because of that. Now, as much as this is true, it has some fallbacks or has some drawbacks. One, a lot of things influence people's decisions, not necessarily the kind of message that they are exposed to, which are called the nexus of mediating variables. One of them is education, the other one of them is religion, and another one has to do with money. Because, for example, if I've seen the shoe is very beautiful and the shoe is very expensive and I cannot afford it, my desire to get the shoe would be quenched because I will not have the amount to purchase it. The other one has to do with religion. I always give this example that if you are in a Muslim dominating country like Qatar or Dubai and you are an advertising company and you want to do an advertisement on pork, no matter how beautiful your message is, direct, clear, concise, with all the effects showing, with all the videos showing, people will not purchase it because of their religious background. Now, the next theory we want to look at is agenda setting theory. It says that mass media prioritizes the messages that we must hear, and then it gives us what to think about. Because the news agency, mass media, for example, print, television and radio, they have reporters across countries where they gather information, they come together, they sit at editorial meetings and filter the message according to preference. So what might be important to one news house might not be important to another news house. And the news house that have large coverage helps us to think about the important things they feel. However, the coming in or the emergence of social media has changed a lot of things. Now we are all consumers and we are all producers. Anybody can just go to Twitter or X, Facebook, and then begin a conversation. And usually media houses will pick that. Unfortunately, for most of the media, especially some of them that are in Ghana, they are not able to cross-check because once there is ubiquity and there is uniformity in most of the social or on most of the social media handles, some of them are forced to pick up stories that will later prove to be wrong, and that would have to that would put demand on media houses to do cross verification, authentication of information before they hand them out. Now, while some of the proponents of the agenda setting theory is Maxwell McCombs and Donald Shaw, Lance Bennett, and then David Weaver. Now, the next theory is the cultivation theory, one of my favorite theories, by George Gebner. It posits that people's beliefs and worldviews are shaped by the kind of message or the kind of things they see on media, social media, or what kind of media they find themselves watching. Now, imagine someone watches a movie of violence or watches a movie always, or the kind of content, media content the person is exposed to, shows that friends are not reliable people, this kind of person will grow up and in his mind will build that concept in his mind that friends are not loyal. They can deceive you. They can betray you. So usually, what people watch, especially at the younger ages, as they are growing, forms part of their ideology, forms part of their perception. For example, usually even our media houses in Ghana and Africa fall victim to this. They usually want to project Africa as a poverty-stricken place where people are dying, where people are hungry, people are really skinny and they don't have any fat. And though it is true that in parts of Africa there is poverty, there is low per income, there is hunger-stricken people, but that is not the whole truth. So the more they project that, people outside the country sees Africa as very poor people, see them as people who are poverty-stricken, which might not be the reality completely. And usually some people also watch movies that are westernized movies where people kill, people shoot friends there and there, and those kind of effects also make them think that outside their countries there's only violence that is there, but that will not always be the case. The last theory we'll look at is the uses and gratification theory. This theory has helped a lot of people like social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and other ones, which brings algorithms to help people meet to their interest or to meet to their needs. Using the gratification theory says that we consume according to our needs. So for example, I watch a television station. If I am a sport fan, I'll watch sport program because I love sport. I would watch reality shows because I love reality shows. And this has helped Instagram and other social media platforms to make content that is tailor-suited to the people who are watching them. The only problem is that it would come to a place where people will not be able to consume other things outside the box. They will always think inside the box because every information that is coming to them is specifically going towards the direction they want it to go to. They will not have divergent and diverse views to learn from. Now, to conclude, media, especially the new media, has changed a lot of things. It has affected the spirit of silence, where people who feel that they are marginalized can be able to voice. There were protests even in Ghana where people were able to speak to power. People bring up conversations on Twitter where they discuss issues they are not happy about in the country. Initially, it was the politicians who used the media, mass media, to just give information. It was a top-down approach, but now it's a conversational approach. Two, there is globalization, where people can learn. In fact, because of globalization, I was able to get to know of Alabama University because of globalization, and I was able to apply. If not for globalization, I would not know that there is a university somewhere outside the country, which is Alabama University, of a choice that I would love to be educated over there.